Hi, welcome to Rein It In with Matt and Rachel, the video edition. So instead of our normal travel podcasts, Rachel's out of town. This is Matt, and I'm working on some cooking and some videos. So today we're going to make some okonomiyaki. I'm going to pause here for a second, and we're going to jump into the video. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. So today I'm going to be making some okonomiyaki. We're doing a little bit different here. I got a different setup. Also, I'm going to be making this okonomiyaki, and I don't quite have the right ingredients, but I've got enough of things, and I think this sort of works well enough. I've made it this way or similar to this a lot of times. Okonomiyaki, for those that don't know, again, another Japanese dish. You can see a pattern here, by the way. And in that, in the dish, right, it's kind of a, sometimes people call it like a, Japanese pizza, maybe is what they say. That doesn't make any sense. Like, you shouldn't really consider it that. I mean, maybe you can if you want, but that it's, it's a pretty popular, kind of like, maybe, as I understand it, sort of like a bar snack of sorts. Not bar, but sort of like, it's comfort food. Comfort food, that's what I'm looking for. So I also need to make sure I'm not cutting my fingers here on this. But so generally, and there are also two different kinds of okonomiyaki. There's one which is down by Hiroshima, that I believe is like the one that has noodles and stuff in it. The one that I make, I think, is more of the from Osaka sort of area. Now, I could have those mixed up, whatever. I make the one that does not have pasta in it, and also I'm not using a flat top. So, but again, just like last time, check out some stuff on the internet about what okonomiyaki is. Look up some recipes. I'm not really talking about the recipes here too much, just kind of talking about how you can sort of do this pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So, basically, what this is going to be is it's going to be generally a cabbage and vegetable pancake that we're going to fry up with a little bit of egg, a little bit of batter. And the sort of the part that's like most famous about it is the toppings, and we'll get to the toppings when we get there. So anyways, this is me dicing some, I guess julienning some carrots using mung cheese method. We got a bowl here. We're just going to throw a bunch of stuff in here. So I always like to throw some carrot in there, gives it some color. Sometimes I'll throw corn in there. Now, here's where we're going to start departing from things. Normally, what you would use is like a normal green cabbage. I guess you could use a red cabbage. I guess you could use Napa cabbage. I think I've used Napa cabbage before, too. But basically, we want to shred this stuff as finely as you can. Honestly, I've even done it with like chunks. I've seen recipes that do it in chunks. But I'm just going to kind of get a little bit of this and get sort of there. And you can rate in about my knife skills here, where I do not get my knuckles right. And I also move the food and not the knife. And you're supposed to do it the other way around. So anyways, we're going to keep pushing this stuff in here. This is going to cook down fairly well. This is cabbage. It's going to wilt. And we're going to go ahead and keep adding some of this stuff. I've also got a couple other things that are a little bit different. Did I already say sometimes I'll put corn in here? Just kind of like give it a little bit of color, give it a little bit of sweetness. I also don't have it this time, but it's kind of fun to put in like mochi. You can buy like shelf stable or refrigerated like hard mochi. It's not the same as the soft like daifuku, I guess is maybe what it is, where or dongo. They're harder. Normally what you do is like boil them or microwave them or grill them. And the what I'll often sometimes use too is Korean rice cakes. That's pretty good. So I'm also trying to just use some vegetables that I have in the house. I'm going to go ahead and use this kale. We're going to get even less fine with this stuff. Just kind of shred it down a little bit. This is pretty much, I got an onion here too I'm going to put in. It's actually not an onion. It's, I think technically it's like a a special baby sort of leek. This is going to be a big ass pancake, by the way. I am consistently bad at judging how big of a how much vegetable I need for this. You see, this one actually looks a little more like a leek, right? But it's all the same. It's going to be good. And so what we're going to do is we're going to finish putting this together. I'm going to grab some. I just use okonomiyaki. Maybe I use like Korean pancake mix. I forget what I use. You can, make a mix of flour. I think it's maybe more supposed to be like cornstarch maybe, or something that's not quite as gluten-y, right? So we want low gluten. But so far what we got here, boom, we got a bunch of vegetable. This is a lot more vegetable than I want. I'm gonna wash my hands over here on the other side off camera. And so some other things that you'd put in here, if you were making this properly, there's like a mountain yam, I forget exactly what it's called, that you would grate, and it makes like sort of a snotty thing, but it's good for like binding and maybe some other things. I'm gonna end up using an egg. I think a lot of other recipes will call for an egg as well, and maybe even an egg on top of the thing. Also, this is some good, kind of a different kind of pickled ginger. It's the dark red, they're the little sticks. This one, like, you kind of have to have this one in there. If you don't have that in there, it'll be fine, right? But I think that's a little bit more of the traditional flavor that you're gonna get. Like I said, I might put in, Korean rice cake, or harder sort of mochi. That's kind of nice. It gives it sort of like a cheesy kind of aspect to it. Like gets a little melty and stringy in there. You can actually make this vegan. Like you don't even need to use the egg really. You could just get some flour and some binder. I mean, basically all you're doing is like getting enough flour in this thing that, actually, I'm gonna do this while we're talking. I'm gonna grab, see, I've got a different microphone on, so you guys can tell. Reaching into my cabinet here. And what I've got, yeah, there we go. So Korean style pancake mix. For this much here, I'm probably gonna use maybe a half a cup of this stuff. I'm kind of winging it. You'll kind of notice I sort of do that a lot. I don't know, let's just pour it in since we're winging it. I personally like to add this and then mix it up. And then that's gonna give me, it's gonna kind of coat the stuff a little bit. Let's go with a fork. It gets sort of coated in there. You do want it to be sort of a batter, but it's actually, I kind of like it when it's not quite as battery. It's not gonna be like an American pancake where you are gonna end up with a lot of breadiness. I actually just sort of want enough of this so that it holds all the vegetables together once we go. So, wow, this is huge. I really need to make two with this. So I'm gonna go with this here. There's my vegetables. There's my, what am I looking for there word-wise? The, pancake mix, right? The flour that's gonna be in there. I will always put in some, what the heck? So it's already gonna be kind of dark because of the kale, right? So just a mirin. Again, I'm gonna eyeball this one, just like a few glugs. Again, this is gonna be part of the water that's actually pulling it together. I don't normally put in soy sauce. This is just some soy sauce. I honestly picked it up randomly at the local Japanese, I guess, sort of international market. We put that in there. The other thing I'm gonna do too, if I was doing this right, I would make this sort of into a broth. You want a little bit of water in here as well. And what I'm gonna use, this is just some dashi granules, right? So instead of actually making a broth or using a broth or dissolving this water, I'm just gonna do this, right? So, and I'm gonna end up adding about a half a cup. So this is adding some salt, it's adding some seasoning. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some water, and then we're gonna add this, we're gonna mix it up, and then hopefully we're gonna end up with some sort of batter that seems like it's sort of worthwhile. Sorry that nothing's happening over there on the board. All right, here we go. So water, we're gonna add in that water. That was maybe half a cup to start. And then I'm gonna come back in here with my fork, and we're gonna mix this up a little bit. Yes, I know I haven't added the egg yet. Part of that is just because I kind of forgot. But we're gonna get that in here. And also I wanna kind of test how much we got here. I think we're gonna need some additional water, some additional liquid, and some additional mix. Probably didn't quite put in a half a cup. Because I do want this to be a little more battery than this. Let me go ahead and pour in a little bit more. That probably is not super effectively that much more, but you know, something. So what we're gonna do here once I get this settled in is, that's looking better. I'll also say I've probably made this, you know, a couple dozen times, some version of this. I'm always kind of making it up as I go, and some of them come out better than others. This is following Rain It In Matt and Rachel tradition, and I am, this is unscripted, as you can probably tell. I pulled out the vegetables and everything that I needed before the chopping, and now I'm going to mix this guy in here. And yeah, this looks pretty good. I like this. All right, so normally I would make this like enough for just like one person, but it's easier when I'm not using different vegetables than I normally would. Some other things that you would put in here, I mentioned the mountain yam. Other one that's really good that I don't have any of is, what the heck is that stuff called? Well, it's basically tempura bits. I forget the actual name of it. But this is pretty much what it's going to be, right? It's a little bit of batter. It's mostly vegetable. It's got a little bit of seasoning in it. The ending, you're going to see here once I cook it, is going to be a little more interesting with the how you do it, a little more specific, I suppose, too. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause this here. And then I will be back once I figure out how to get the camera over the stove without melting my phone. All right, thanks. All right, let's try this. Is this video going to work at all? Anyway, so I cleaned up a little bit. I started getting my pan ready. So anyway, here we go. I think we're looking okay here. I got some small frying pan. I'm going to go ahead and swirl that oil around. Probably a little more oil than I need, but you're kind of frying this thing. Okonomiyaki. Yaki is definitely grilled, I guess, because you're going to talk about no, I guess fried. The stuff's a little dirty. But anyways, we're going to put this here. We've got our mixture over here. It's been hanging out for a couple minutes, and I'm going to dollop some of this into this pan. Let's see if I can do this without dropping the pan or making too much of a mess. All right, we got a little bit of sizzle there. Now I'm probably going to do about a little more than half of that. And I guess I'm going to make a little tiny one after this one. So there we go. We got our batter in there. We are frying. Probably be a little bit hotter. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of form it into the pancake I want to make. You can make these on a griddle. You don't need to make them in a flat thing like this, or in a pan the size of your pancake or your okonomiyaki. But anyways, yeah, okonomiyaki is supposedly like as cooked as you like it, or grilled or fried as you like it. So it really is like put in whatever you want. I kind of want to add a little bit more. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Am I gonna do this whole thing? This is a bad idea. Okay, I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I'm just gonna do that much because this stuff is gonna wilt down. Screw it. All right, I am going to regret this. This is probably not going to cook through how I want it to, but this is what we got. Now, another way that this would normally be done traditionally is, yeah, that's a beast. Anyways, we're going to be there. Throw this one in the sink. Wash my hands a little bit, take the keg off, and so we've got this beast of a pancake, and it is going to be in here. It's going to be cooking through. So I put it in here. I squeeze it down. I get the my arm is probably right in the camera, and here we go. I don't know what this looks like because I'm on the wrong side. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and push this in, flatten it out. All that batter, right, is squeezing down there, and getting cooked along, a little bit fried along the bottom. The top of this stuff is starting to steam inside a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and cover this guy. So I'm going to let him cook for a bit. I'm going to turn him down because you guys don't really need to sit here for this whole time that it sits. But I don't want it to get too fried. I'll show you when we flip it. But I'm going to let this cook for probably a good at least 5 minutes to let that sort of a skin form in the bottom, let the start getting heated in the middle. I'm going to try to flip this in a way that is in any way visible on the camera, which I use like a flip over in the lid sort of trick. But I'll show you that one. The other piece that I kind of said, traditionally what would happen is you'd go into a place. I have not had okonomiyaki in Japan. I have been to Japan. But you'd get like a little, you'd sit down at the flat top table and the chef would cook it for you right in front. So I'm going to do this. So they would put everything on the flat top, not in a pan. And but they normally start with pork belly. So you'd have sort of like a non-smoked bacon sort of thing on there, and that would cook and get all like crispy and fatty, and that would really be your fat that you're doing. A, I don't have any pork belly, and B, just would prefer if this was vegetarian. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it this way. And this is normally how I do it. I have done it with bacon. I have done it with actual pork belly. Pork belly is not quite the right term, right? It's like sort of just like unsmoked bacon, really, is what it is, right? It's like European bacon or something, Japanese bacon, whatever. Not the smoky bacon, but it has fat in it and it gets good and crisp. But I skip that. You don't need to do that. This one's going to cook away here for a little bit. I will be back in a few moments to show you what it looks like. All right, we're back. So one of the other things I forgot to show you is normally once I put it in there, I squeeze it down a little bit into the corners. I get it flattened. I also like to go ahead and like kind of do this weird rotating thing. I don't know if this is traditional. What I did learn this is from actually Jose Andres. Did this with eggs and beans, or just like for a Spanish tortilla with potato, and it works pretty good. So you can see it's pretty solid on the bottom there. We're gonna see, maybe this is gonna work. All right, so I'm gonna turn the flame off just so I don't burn myself too badly. We're gonna take this guy and we're gonna take the lid and we're gonna hold it upside down in our hand. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this onto the lid. Now the other weird thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna splash just a little bit of vegetable oil in the middle because I want some more oil in the bottom. I'm going to take the pan, I'm going to turn it upside down. I'm going to put that on there so that the oil doesn't fall on me, because I don't want to put it in the pan because then it's going to fall on my hand. But then, bam, there we go. There's looking pretty perfect. So I'm happy with that one. I'm going to go ahead and move this back here to this spot. I'm going to turn this flame back on. Again, not super high. We got, this is a big power burner. This will burn the hell out of crap real fast. So, really what I've got here is, it's doing okay. I got a stray cabbage. I'm going to just throw this one away. Sometimes the edge will break a little bit and you just kind of need to push it back in to get the right shape. But yeah, that's a good thing. I like that. So you can imagine if you would put down some bacon first, that bacon would be nice and crisp on there. If you do it with bacon, the trick that I've done that I think makes it a little bit better is I actually fry the bacon a little bit on one side to get it rendering. And not quite crisp because it'll start curling too much, but get it a little bit rendered, get it a little bit warmer, and then flip it over. And then add your okonomiyaki batter. I'm going to throw this back on here because I do want this to sort of steam at the same time that it's cooking. If you see this on TV, they put like a big... what's that called? Like a cloche, is that what it is? The big metal dome. They put that over the flat top and cook it out like that. It's kind of like a hibachi table, right? If you've been to hibachi restaurants in the States. Same thing, right? I'm going to give that guy a little bit of a swirl. That's going to work the oil around a little bit, and it's going to help us not be stuck. Again, I've got a pretty good flame on that. That looks bigger than it is on the camera. It's actually on the power burner. It's like medium low. I'm going to turn it down a little bit lower to kind of just a little bit up from low because I don't want it to burn too much, but I do want to get some more of that good color on there. So we're going to let that go for a little while. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to show you some of the things we're going to do. Once this is done, I'm going to need to pause. We're going to move this back over to the other spot. You can see it right there at the cutting board. We're going to move this back over there. This is a really weird angle. I got to figure out a better way to do this. And we're going to put put a bunch of condiments on it. And there's some specific condiments you put on. The first one is, you can make this. It's like Worcestershire sauce and some other stuff. Pretty much what everyone says is just go ahead and buy it. It's not that expensive. You can find it in a lot of places. I think I've even seen it in some grocery stores in the States. Okonomiyaki sauce. It's like a Japanese barbecue sauce. It's kind of specific for this. You'll sometimes see some that are in the similar bottle, but a little bit different. This one's good. This is sort of like the standard. If you see the little lady's face there, you know you're in the good spot. And then speaking of ladies' faces, not ladies' faces, baby faces, this is the part that grosses the hell out of Rachel. Rachel does not like mayonnaise. In fact, she would like to go back in time and kill mayonnaise. Kewpie mayonnaise is really what you want on this. It's Japanese mayonnaise. It might be more similar to Duke's mayonnaise. I've never had Duke's mayonnaise. I'll admit I actually don't eat a lot of mayonnaise, although Rachel would say I do. I put a very little bit on my natto toast that I had in the other video. I'll actually make some natto toast for people at some point so you can see what it looks like. I use a little bit in there, but by and large, I never think about this other than when I'm doing these specific things with sort of like Japanese food. But we're going to put down some of that okonomiyaki sauce. We're going to put down some of this mayonnaise. And you kind of do it in a specific pattern, kind of. I mean, it's not super important, right? You can do whatever you want. Sometimes people actually like brush the okonomiyaki sauce on. Fancy places like restaurants will have a kind of a special Kewpie mayo, which has like 3 holes in the top and it helps you draw lines. So we'll do that. This particular bottle is not very good at drawing lines. The other things we're going to put on it is ao nori. So you probably can't really see this too much. It looks a little bit like oregano or something, but it's actually like nori flakes. Ao is blue, which in Japan is sometimes considered green. So we've got basically nori sheets. It's what's around like sushi rolls or maki rolls, technically, I suppose, right? So it's green. It's like a seaweed algae roll. It doesn't have a ton of flavor, but it gives some umami. It gives a little bit of saltiness. So we're going to put that on there. And then the other one is going to be bonito flakes or katsuobushi, or maybe bonito flakes are from katsuobushi. I don't know. I've got kind of this crappy one. If you get this at a restaurant or if you make this at home, go ahead and find like a big bag of these big strips of it. You'll know the difference. This is almost like, like pencil shavings. The good ones, there's different kinds, but the good ones that you normally see on okonomiyaki are sort of like big slices almost. Shavings, big shavings is literally what they are, because it's a cured special type of tuna. And when you put it on, it's going to like wave and waggle. Go ahead and look up okonomiyaki after this one, or probably YouTube will be recommending you something for okonomiyaki, so you can check that out. But anyways, I'm going to use this. It's not perfect, but it is there. That's going to be your smoky, right? That's kind of like Japanese fish bacon, if you're not familiar with it. So we are getting close here. I'm going to go ahead and look at the other side of this just to see how we're looking. Oh yeah, that looks good. Which side looks better? I don't know. Let's crisp that side up a little bit without the lid on. Put the lid in the sink here. This is so much nicer using a wireless microphone. By the way, these are the same microphones we use for the podcast. If you're watching us and learning about us here, check out, it used to be, it still is, go to anchor.fm/rainitin. Anchor got bought by Spotify, so now it's like Spotify for podcasters or spotifypodcast.com. But look for Rain It In, Matt and Rachel. You can search for that, Rain It In, Matt and Rachel podcast. We talk about food, but more about eating it and traveling. We talk about games. We talk about all sorts of things. I've started doing the cooking here for whatever reason. So I like to cook. Rachel likes to cook. She's an awesome cook too. She's out of town, so I'm making all these weird things, and I'm trying to make videos. So anyways, I'm going to throw this on here. Actually, I'm going to turn this off. And I'm going to flip this back the other side. I like the other side better. Almost lost it. You can't see what I'm doing there. There you go. Bam. It looks wonderful. So let me go ahead and pause this real quick, and I'll move the camera. All right, let's try this out here. So now we have our okonomiyaki, our pancake. This is a big one. Will I eat this whole thing? Probably. So anyways, we're going to start with our okonomiyaki sauce. Light's okay there. And we're going to put this on here. Let's see how well this one goes. This one usually goes pretty well. Like you'll normally see people do little stripes. You start with that, and then I'm going to do this because it's easier. What you'll normally see is that people do this cross-hatched, and then we're going to do some mayonnaise. Rachel is puking if she's watching this right now. There we go with our mayonnaise. I am now going to go ahead and shake some of this stuff on. This is the ao nori. This might, oh, hey, no, that's a lot. This is maybe a little harder to find. You can find them on Amazon. You can find both the katsuobushi and the other. Kewpie mayonnaise is all over the place these days, so you will probably, you might have to find it on Amazon or some online thing. But if you have an international market around you that has any sort of Japanese selection, you're going to be fine there. So anyways, there we go. That is our okonomiyaki, and I am looking forward to eating this. So thanks for joining me. Again, you can check us out on our podcast. You can check out our channel. Leave any comments in the comments section for this. I'm actually reading them at this point. And I mean, I will keep reading them too, but I've already gotten some in the last video, so would love to see more. Thanks a lot for your time.